Hello everyone. Welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and hit the bell icon. What Beth saying, "I will avenge you," at John Dutton's funeral in Yellowstone means. After Beth learns her father died in Yellowstone Season 5, Part 2, it is only a matter of time before she seeks vengeance, and she certainly does during the finale. Kelly Reilly's Beth has been a significant presence in the Paramount Network neo-Western drama since its beginning. Whether fans love or hate her, Beth is one of Yellowstone's most important characters. So it makes sense why Beth has such a big role in the finale, and why she is the one to avenge John Dutton by the time Yellowstone comes to an end. Beth had a very close relationship with her father in Yellowstone. After discovering he had been killed, Beth's emotions get the best of her, to no one's surprise. And it's honestly baffling that she holds off on getting revenge for as long as she does. However, attending John's funeral during the Yellowstone Season 5 finale is just the push Beth needs. After saying goodbye to him, Beth seeks justice for her father's murder, and nothing is going to stop her from getting it by the end of Yellowstone Season 5, Episode 14, Life is a Promise. Beth struggles to get through John's funeral in Yellowstone Season 5, Episode 14 without breaking down. She even tells Carter that she doesn't want to be there. Nevertheless, Beth pushes through, and when it's time to say goodbye to her father, she makes him a promise. Beth whispers to John's coffin, "I will avenge you," referring to her brother, Jamie. She knows that Jamie was involved in their father's assassination, and to avenge John, she believes she must kill Jamie. Beth leaves the funeral and attacks Jamie at his house. After he almost chokes her to death, Rip arrives and holds Jamie back while Beth stabs him. Beth and Jamie's sibling rivalry in Yellowstone has been going on since they were young. He had her sterilized without her consent, and she has hated him ever since. So John's death gives Beth an excuse to finally get rid of Jamie. Before John's murder, Jamie filed articles of impeachment against him and was sleeping with a woman, Sarah Atwood, who wanted to ruin the Duttons. Shortly after learning her father died, Beth confronts Jamie, knowing he played a part in John's death. Later, Beth finally decides to act on her need to avenge John, which is why she kills Jamie. Beth wholeheartedly believes that killing Jamie will bring John the justice he deserves in Yellowstone Season 5, Part 2. However, perhaps her hatred is a bit misguided. While Jamie told Sarah he wanted his father dead at the end of Yellowstone Season 5, Episode 8, he stupidly didn't think she would actually arrange John's execution. So when assassins stage John's suicide during the Season 5, Part 2 premiere, Jamie is shell-shocked. Sarah hired the killers without telling Jamie, but it's not like he is 100% innocent. Jamie expressed a desire to see his father dead, giving Sarah the green light to order John's assassination in the Yellowstone Season 5, Part 2 premiere. Then he finds out about Sarah's actions and does nothing with this knowledge. So even though Jamie didn't pull the trigger, he is just as guilty as Sarah is in Beth's mind, which is why she feels justified in killing her brother. If Sarah was still alive in Yellowstone Season 5, Episode 14, Beth certainly would have taken her to the train station too. Perhaps Beth killing Jamie during Yellowstone Season 5's ending doesn't completely honor John's legacy, but Case's actions in the finale do. One of Season 5, Part 2's dominant themes is the Duttons' struggle to keep the ranch. After John's death, they can't afford the taxes, meaning the government and greedy corporations will likely take over the land and turn it into a tourist destination. However, Case devises a plan to save the ranch at the end of Yellowstone Season 5, Episode 13. To protect the land, the Duttons must sell it. They can't afford to maintain ownership, but they can hand the Yellowstone over to someone who will take good care of it, Chief Thomas Rainwater. Case offers to sell the ranch to Chief Rainwater and the Broken Rock Reservation for $1.25/acre. This price lowers the land's taxes, allowing the tribe to take over without worrying about money. Chief Rainwater agrees, of course, and Yellowstone's ending finally fulfills 1883's prophecy. The rights to the Yellowstone return to its original owners, while the Duttons remain buried on the property, and John's living children honor his legacy by starting ranches of their own. After Beth kills Jamie and seemingly gets away with it, she can finally move on with her life, leaving all her burdens back in Paradise Valley during the neo-Western drama's finale. Beth and Rip buy a new ranch 2 hours away from the Yellowstone in Dillon, Montana. They want to live in ice. Beth Dutton's declaration, "I will avenge you," at her father John Dutton's funeral on the hit series *Yellowstone*, carries layers of emotional and narrative significance. It is a promise drenched in sorrow, fury, and an unwavering resolve that speaks to Beth's identity, her complex relationship with John, and the broader themes of the show. At its core, this moment is quintessentially Beth. Her character has always been defined by her fierce loyalty to her family and the ranch, a loyalty that often manifests in ruthless and sometimes self-destructive ways. John Dutton, the patriarch of the family, has been her anchor, her compass, and the source of her deepest insecurities. Losing him would not only shatter her emotionally, but also destabilize the delicate balance of power and tradition that the Duttons have fought to maintain for generations. The words, "I will avenge you," are not mere theatrics or a spontaneous outburst of grief. They encapsulate Beth's understanding of what John's life and death mean in the grander scheme of the Dutton legacy. The Yellowstone Ranch is more than just land. It is the embodiment of the Dutton family's blood, sweat, and tears. John's death, whether it's by natural causes or foul play, represents an existential threat to everything the family holds dear. For Beth, avenging him is not just about retribution. It is about ensuring that his vision and sacrifices were not in vain. The context of loss and legacy. John Dutton's funeral would be a monumental event, likely marked by the presence of friends, enemies, and rivals. It is a moment of reckoning for all who have crossed paths with the Dutton family. For Beth, this setting magnifies the weight of her words. She is not merely mourning her father. She is staking a claim on the future of the Yellowstone Ranch and sending a message to anyone who dares to challenge her family. John's relationship with Beth has always been complicated. He has been both a source of strength and a catalyst for her vulnerabilities. Throughout the series, John's stoic demeanor often clashes with Beth's fiery personality. Yet their bond is undeniable. Beth's promise to avenge him is as much about honoring that bond as it is about confronting her own sense of guilt and inadequacy. She has always sought her father's approval, and in his death, she sees an opportunity to prove her worth in the most definitive way possible. ###, a symbol of resistance. The Dutton family's fight for the ranch has always been a metaphor for resistance against modernity, corporate greed, and the erosion of traditional values. John's death marks a turning point in this battle. Beth's vow to avenge him is a declaration of war against those forces. It is her way of saying that the fight is far from over and that she will carry the torch, no matter the cost. Beth's character is uniquely suited for this role. She is a strategist, a manipulator, and a force of nature who has proven time and again that she is willing to go to any lengths to protect her family. Her promise to avenge John is not an empty threat. It is a pledge backed by a history of calculated ruthlessness. Whether it means taking on corporate conglomerates, political adversaries, or even internal family dissent, Beth is prepared to do whatever it takes. ###, the personal cost of vengeance. However, the path of vengeance is fraught with peril, both external and internal. Beth's promise raises questions about what she is willing to sacrifice and how far she is prepared to go. The cost of her vengeance could alienate her from the people she loves, including her brother Case and her husband Rip. It could also lead her down a darker path, one where the line between justice and obsession becomes increasingly blurred. Beth's relationship with Rip is particularly significant in this context. Rip has always been her anchor, the one person who understands her pain and accepts her unconditionally. Yet even he may struggle to support her if her quest for vengeance spirals out of control. The tension between Beth's need for retribution and her personal relationships adds another layer of complexity to her character arc. ####, a reflection of *Yellowstone* themes. Beth's declaration also serves as a microcosm of the broader themes of *Yellowstone*. The show has always explored the idea of legacy, the cost of power, and the lengths people will go to protect what they hold dear. John Dutton's life was defined by these struggles, and his death becomes a catalyst for Beth to confront them in her own way. In many ways, Beth's promise to avenge John is a continuation of his legacy. John was a man who believed in the sanctity of the land and the importance of family. He was willing to make difficult choices and endure great suffering to uphold those beliefs. Beth's vow is an extension of that philosophy. It is her way of saying that she will not let his sacrifices be forgotten or his enemies go unpunished.